Chances are, if you're tuning into this video, you're interested in finding out about the National Park campground we stayed at in the off-season down in southern Missouri as part of the Ozark National Scenic Riverways. In this video, I'm going to give you a bit of a campground tour so you can find out about the different amenities that are available during the off-season. Plus, I'm going to bring you into town, into the nearest town, so you can find out about what services are available should you stay at this campground. And finally, I'm going to give you my rating on a scale of 1 to 5 as to how I would rate this campground in the off-season. Stay tuned to find out what campground we stayed at here shortly. The campground I'm talking about is Big Spring Campground, and it is located off of Highway 60 just outside of Van Buren, Missouri, and it's one of 5 developed campgrounds that you can stay at as part of the Ozark National Scenic Riverways. Here at the campground, they have a self-service pay station, and as you can see, we are staying here during the off-season, so they have the off-season rates posted. For a standard non-electric site, it is $12 per night, and then for a standard electric site, it is $15 per night. Also, something to be aware is they do honor the Access and Senior Pass discounts, and so when you're filling out your envelope to pay for your site, be sure you note your senior or your access pass numbers on here so you get the discount. Although it's not posted on here, peak season is April 15th through October 14th, and during that time frame you can reserve sites. I believe, from what I understand, the reservable sites are the ones with the electric. When you arrive here, if you have not made reservations, they have instructions for you to go and select and occupy a vacant campsite. Each day, unreserved campsites are offered on a first come, first served basis. And so you'll go and pick out your campsite that way. Then you'll note your campsite number and return here immediately to register and pay. Otherwise, you risk having the ranger come after you. Okay, maybe the ranger won't really come after you, but I do know the ranger does drive through at least once a day, checking to make sure that everybody that's camping here has paid. Also, if you're one of those campers who's accustomed to staying in a hammock, yeah, hammock camping is a thing, they do have a rule here that you cannot tie your hammock to a tree, that your hammock must be freestanding. Of course, times are different these days, and because of that, they have recommendations here based on CDC guidance to help reduce the spread of COVID-19. There is a pull-through water fill-up and dump station here at Big Spring Campground. However, something to be aware of is that the water spigots here at the dump station are turned off during the off-season. Just a friendly reminder from your National Park Service that quiet hours are from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. and to keep all vehicles on pavement. If you stay at Big Spring Campground during peak season, you'll have access to hot showers. Unfortunately, we're here during the off-season and they are closed. Upon arriving at Big Spring Campground, you'll notice some campsites off to your left. Those campsites are kept closed during the off-season. The sites you want to access during the off-season are the campsites numbered 101 through 229. The campsites in the 200 loop are the ones with electric, and the campsites in the 100 loop are the ones without. This is the 200 loop of the campground. As you can see, there are 29 sites with electrical hookups, a fresh water spigot over by the bathrooms, and a set of bathrooms with running water and flush toilets. Going a little further down next to the 200 loop is the 100 loop, which contains all the standard non-electric sites. And as you can see, there's no one here. In addition to the individual family sites, you can find several group sites here at Big Spring Campground. These group sites are rather large and can accommodate groups from anywhere from 7 to 45 people. According to the signage here, they are closed during the off-season, and during peak season, if you're interested in camping in those sites, before occupying, you need to go down to the ranger station in Van Buren and check in with the ranger there. All of the standard sites come equipped with a picnic table, a fire ring, a pad for parking on, and a hanger for your lantern. Sites with electric come equipped with 50 amp, 30 amp, and 20 amp hookups. Lastly, in the 200 loop, there are 2 sites designated for handicapped individuals. Those sites come equipped with everything plus a grill for cooking on. What's nice about Big Spring Campground is that you have access to the Current River, which is real popular with boaters, tubers, canoers, and fishermen. There's even canoe access and a boat launch just down the road. The other really great thing about Big Spring Campground is the number of hiking trails around, especially the one that brings you over here to the Big Spring itself. Big Spring is a freshwater spring that pumps out on average 288 million gallons of water per day, which according to the placard here is enough to fill Busch Stadium in St. Louis within 33 hours. Regardless, it is one of the greatest features, if not the best feature, about staying at Big Spring Campground. Now that we got the tour and the lowdown on the campground out of the way, let's take a drive into town and see what services are available there. Van Buren, Missouri is the closest town to the campground, and here you're going to find services such as a bank, Smalley's Deli and Convenience Store, and of course the ranger station for the National Parkway, the National Waterway. Other services you'll find in Van Buren include gas stations and supermarkets and eateries. Now that we're back from Van Buren and you're familiar with the services there, let's move on into our rating of the campground. I asked Marty to give his opinion as to how he'd rate the campground, and he told me 5 stars. Well, I wish I could agree with him, except this time I'm going to have to say 4 stars, which, when you average the 2 together, gives you 4.5 stars. And here's why. Dun, 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 dun. The bathrooms. Yep, the bathrooms played a major part into why I downgraded the park. Now, I understand we're in a campground and dust, grime, and dead bugs are going to make their way into the bathrooms. However, considering that we've been here a week and the dead bugs on the floor are the same dead bugs on the floor that were there when we got here, tells me a little bit about how often these bathrooms are being cleaned. Not to mention, it was a little bit disappointing that we weren't able to access the shower room for hot showers. Yeah, I know, we have a rig and we have our own showers, but there is something to be said about taking a shower, a hot shower, in a nice roomy shower outside of your own rig. The second reason has to do with one other amenity here in the park, and that is the freshwater and dump station. Yep, I think the freshwater and dump station is an important amenity to have turned on in the park even during the off season. Now granted, we're not going to be too put out by that because we do carry freshwater jugs with our rig, and so we can fill up our rig using the freshwater jugs over at the freshwater spigot, but not everybody comes prepared carrying freshwater jugs with them. Also, when you're dumping your tanks, it is really nice to have that extra flush of fresh water through the hose before you put it away. Yeah, I know, normally you flush the black tank and then the gray water, but like I said, having that extra flush of fresh water through that hose just is a really nice thing to do. Regardless, these are my opinions, and, well, you tuned into this video, of course I'm gonna give them. Alright, let's debate this. Based on the information you got in this video, do you agree with my rating, or do you agree with Marty? Or would you rate it totally differently? Let me know in the comments section below. Happy trails, and until next time, This is Sightseeing Sally. We're having beans and weenies, just like the old cowboys.